December 9th, FantasyRasta here. I'm bringing you another episode, another video with my team sheets. If you listened to yesterday's video, I definitely called out some really good plays, targeted some good teams. So hopefully we pick up right where we left off. And again, I'm just going to recap because I've added a few things. You'll see me make adjustments as I go along. So with the categories, you'll see that I have them highlighted in green. Well, some of them highlighted in green. That just means that they line up with other categories that you don't see here, other parts of my formula. And basically what I'm saying is these categories are the ones that I would heavily favor over the others. And if I had to choose a player from that team, and I was kind of stuck on who I wanted to choose, I'd probably lean more towards the categories that are highlighted in green. So with the green one. So for example, 3-point shooters, volume shooters, were really the only two that I targeted. And you'll see there's a few options here. But let's jump right into it. The first game that we have is Philly at Cleveland, 4.25 score. I've got it ranked as number one game. Lakers and Charlotte they also have the same score. But I like a game that's got two superstars in it. That's supposed to be high scoring. So for Philly, 4.25, 3-point shooter. I like Simmons, Sark, and Covington. You'll see I have Sark and Covington here because Sark may not play. So if he doesn't play, that bumps up Covington and makes him the number 2 option. Definitely want to pay more attention to the elite player on that team that I'm considering. And you might want to put 4 or 5 of these guys in your lineup if you can fit them. I'm definitely going to play at least 3 of them minimum. And then these will be secondary options, which, if I can't fit the main guy, I'll try to get one of these other players in there. Cleveland, obviously top game. You're thinking LeBron, Kevin Love. You're looking for a 3-point shooter, a volume shooter, and the assists are in play. So that screams LeBron James. He is coming off a back-to-back, but I do think this is a good game for him. Philly will be without Embiid, so he should be able to get to the rim and have a productive game. Lakers at Charlotte, 4.25. 3-pointers and volume shooters are what you're looking for. You've got the assists also. But Ingram, Caldwell Pope are my top 2 plays. Ingram, and they're pretty close if you look. They're really close in score. So you could flip-flop them if you wanted to. But they're both in a pretty good spot. I think Caldwell Pope was a little bit cheaper, so he might have a little bit more value. For Charlotte, Kemba Walker, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard coming off a monster game. It was hard for me to choose whether I wanted Dwight to be the elite play or Kemba. I like them both. Dwight against the Lakers, I mean, it's hard to ignore, and he's coming off a 70-point game. But I think Kemba's been quiet. He's decent at home, so he could be a nice little play here. He doesn't have a high score, a very high score, but he fits the volume shooting, the 3-point shooting, and the assist category, which are typically guards anyway. So definitely consider Kemba a strong play, and I won't be mad at you if you pay up for Dwight Howard and chase the results from yesterday. Houston at Portland, my number 3 game with a 3.25 score. Houston's got a 3.25. The assist right now is the only category that I have in play. Well, not the only, but the main category that I have in play. So that definitely leans towards Harden, Chris Paul, but Harden's my elite play. Capella's my number 2 option. Just so you know, Chris Paul was right behind Capella. I should have actually put him in here, but I don't mind either of those 3 in this game. Portland, you've got assist, volume shooter. That's Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum's going to give you the volume shots. Lillard's going to give you more of the assists, but McCollum might be a little bit more of might be a better value play in the long run. He's due for a big game. He's got upside. I'm sure he'll be pretty low owned. So give him a look if you feel he's worthy of it. The Knicks at Chicago. The score of 3. It's my number 4 game. This game just breaks into the second tier. It's right on the borderline of the second and of being in the first tier. So the Chicago assists and 3-pointers. Chris Dunn, Justin Holiday. Chris Dunn is my number 1. For New York, you're looking for assists as your major category that you want to target. But Porzingis is my top-ranked player, and his Cantor is my number 2. San Antonio, Phoenix. This is an important game. San Antonio is missing a lot of players as of right now. Phoenix is a bad defensive team. They're missing Devin Booker. They're missing their scorers. Um, so for San Antonio, they've got the higher score. They're actually in the first tier. Definitely want to have exposure. I'm going to make sure that I at least have exposure to one player from this game, if not two. Assist, three-point shooters. So, since three-point shooters are in play, Rudy Gay, he's not really going to give you the three that often, but Danny Green will. LaMarcus Aldridge is my top play from this game, from San Antonio, which is obvious. With the fact that they're missing so many players, and he's gonna have a good matchup all game, so definitely consider LMA. And then with Phoenix, they've got a 1.25 score, assist and three-point shots are in play. I've got TJ Warren as their elite play, which is obvious. He's going to be taking the majority of their shots. And I've got Ulis as the number 2. He is seeing a lot of minutes. He's going to have a decent matchup against Patty Mills, which I forgot to mention for San Antonio. So consider Ulis. Mike James could be in play here as well. Greg Monroe will be popular regardless of the fact that I'm looking for assistant three-point shots. But there's a lot of value in this game itself because of the fact that they don't have a lot of players, or a lot of their high-dollar players are hurt. So you can definitely fit in a good group of players here. Orlando at Atlanta. Orlando's got a 3. They have nothing lit up right here. So that means you're looking for a multi-category player. Oh, ironically, Elfrid Payton and Vucevic are my 1 and 2 plays. Payton can contribute to multiple categories, and so can Vucevic. So I definitely consider one of them. For Atlanta, you're looking for a volume shooter. Dennis Schroeder's my number 1, ironically. Bellinelli's my number 2. They're both volume shooters. Bellinelli's been quiet, so he should. There's a good chance he could be a little sleeper here coming off the bench. I know Atlanta has a lot of guards, so it's a little bit risky, but Bellinelli is showing up as a decent play. OKC at Memphis. Memphis has got the assist and three-point shot in play. Gasol's the top play. Tyreke Evans is number 2. Love both these players. OKC, you've got assist and three-pointers. That's Westbrook. That's Paul George. I love Paul George today. If he plays, he's actually one of my highest value plays. Steven Adams is up here too. If Paul George doesn't play. But you can't forget about Carmelo Anthony, which I don't have listed here. For some reason, I have him ranked really low. But you've got to consider him. But I definitely lean Paul George more if he plays. And I think that hurts Carmelo if Paul George plays. Milwaukee at Utah is a 0. Is my last game, bottom ranked game. It's got a 0. Both teams have a 0. When we see zeros, we look for high upside players, multi-category players. So for Milwaukee, you're automatically thinking Giannis, who I actually have ranked as a 50. I believe I have ranked who I have with the highest score, second highest behind Harden. Sorry, and then Middleton would be the number 2. And then for Utah, they've got a 0, but they've got all these categories lit up. So that means it could be multiple players that show out. So I've got Donovan Mitchell and Alec Burks as my 1 and 2. So I don't mind either one of these. Definitely don't mind Giannis or Middleton, but just tailor your expectations. Basically what this is saying is I don't feel like these teams are stackable, but I do feel like there will be 1 or 2 good value plays within this game. So that breaks down the team sheet. That brings down the games. The players in bold, some of you may be asking. The players in bold are players that have indicators or trends that I'm looking for. So any player that's in bold, you want to definitely favor a little bit more. That's the same thing with everything. The green, the orange, the bold. I mean, typically that just means that I favor that particular item or that particular player a little bit more. So now you look at the projections, consider the same thing. So you see you've got the green highlighted players, you've got players that are bold and green highlighted. You see both of those, you want to consider them a little bit more. So you've got Harden, Westbrook, Porzingis, Paul George, Gasol, Elfrid Payton, Gobert, Clint Capella, Chris Paul, Favors, Howard, Dwayne Wade. And wow, going through this, I just realized that I put the wrong Utah players in there. It's supposed to be Gobert and Favors. instead of Mitchell and Burks, but I do like all the players in this game. All right, well, I hope this helps you out. Uh, Sorry, not all the players in the game. Sorry, I have to correct myself before I let you go. Not all the players in this game. I like multiple players from Utah and only a couple players from Milwaukee. So I've got to go back and make a correction real quick. Wish you guys the best today. Have a good weekend. And follow me on Twitter at FantasyRasta. Follow us or come check us out at the dfscave.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop in my DMs.